uh, at
You know
Detroit.
what? Rodney's another
Yeah.
one, man.
Mhm.
I got to give it up, man. You know, it was a little different back then, man, when we started, man. It's like we really cared about our sound. You know what I mean? It's like when you heard a Rodney track, you knew it was Rodney because of how it
Mm,
sounded.
yeah.
When you heard a Devontae track, you knew it
Yeah.
was Devontae because of how it sounded. When you heard a Teddy track, when you heard a Dallas track, Tim and Bob track, Babyface, you know what I'm saying? It's like we really cared about sound back then, man. It was like we knew that your sound was gonna carry you into who you go, who you were gonna be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people was gonna identify you. They was gonna identify you with your sound.
Yeah.
So back then you had, we didn't have like Pro Tools and all the stuff, Ableton and Logic that comes with sounds already. We had to make our sounds, man. We had to go get the album, get the break beat or whatever it was, and we had to chop it all up and EQ it and all that by ourselves. You know what I mean? It
Is
was
that to avoid
crazy.
sampling and stuff like that?
Yeah, we had to do the sampling, man. It was like instead of like, you know what I mean? This stuff right now these days that comes with the sounds. That's
Yeah.
why you can't really tell right now these days who do what because it
Yeah.
all sounds the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back then it was like an MPC, and then you had to really know how to sample it. Either you were sampling it hot, you were sampling not as hot, whatever it would be, man. But you would know who did it when you heard it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. I think we could identify. I could always hear an LA and Babyface track once it starts because you can hear LA's drums, baby faces, sort of harmonies, but also his and even with Darryl Simmons, you could hear. Sometimes you can hear Jimmy and Terry, and then you can always hear Teddy.
Right.
But in Detroit, then what was the? How long were you guys in Detroit before you decided to move on to Atlanta and sort of take the job
Let's
offer with
see.
Dallas?
Off and on, man. Let me see. I will give it by like 2 or 3 years, and then it only took me a year to learn the SSL. So we was ready in a year, man. So we was kind of talking about it, but we didn't really put no energy to it until Randy Rand passed away. Man, Randy Rand passed away. He was in this group, and then a guy that took his place. His name is Paul Hill. He told us, he said, "Hey, man, you know what?" He was like, "Man, y'all know Randy Rand." So I don't think Bob kind of knew him, but I did because I remember looking on the back of Jam and Lewis and stuff, and I used to always see his name. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
I already knew who he was. So I was like, "Yeah, I know him." And he was like, "Hey, man, he had a head-on motorcycle accident, and him and Dallas was just getting started. Like, man, I don't know if you remember a song called "Taking My Time" from After Seven.
Mm, yes.
If you heard of that,
Yeah.
don't mind kicking it with you, all that stuff. Him and
Yeah.
Dallas did that together, man. Like they was
Oh,
produced, they was gonna be a producing team because
okay.
he left Jam and Lewis and came to Atlanta to work with Dallas. You know what I mean? But what happened was is that when he had that accident, Paul Hill took his place and he started telling us the story and all that. He was like, "Hey man, Dallas is really looking for some people, man. Y'all should go ahead and go down there, man." I'm like, "You know what? Could you help us with our demos?" He was like, "Yeah." So, every time we would write the song, Paul would do the demo. You know what I mean? It was
Oh, this.
Paul and Dietrich doing all our demos for us, man. So we start stacking everything up. So we ended up having Dietrich on some, and then Paul on some, and then we had this other guy that we recorded. So when we start playing the songs for Dallas, we had some dudes on there that really, really knew how to sing. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. So
So
it made
that's
it.
what captured him. That not only do y'all know how to do tracks, who's doing a
The
who's
vocal
his
production.
vocalist and who's doing the vocals. You know what I mean? So that really got his attention too, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Before you left it, because I just spoke with Tony. So how did you guys meet, Tony Rich?
Tony, it's crazy, man. Tony, I remember, man, I'm gonna tell you, Tony got this song called he got this song right. If it came out right now, it'll go number one, man. It's a song that come on, man. It make you want. You could be in the happiest mood. I'm not even joking when I say this, man. you can be in the happiest moment of your life. When you hear this song, by the end of the song, you crying, dude.
Wow.
For sure, man.
Wow.
Only for a while was the name of it. I'll be asking him every time I talk to him, I'm like, hey man, do you got your version? He sounds just like Babyface on this record, man. It was unbelievable how he tapped into Babyface and he really sounded like Babyface. It's crazy, man. But anyway, him and his brother came over to the studio where we was working at and they was doing demos. And so then Tony was like, hey man, do y'all know what an MPC is? And we was like, MPC? What's an MPC? Because I had a rolling drum machine. So I didn't even know what that is. So he was the first one that introduced me to an MPC. Once he introduced me to an MPC, man, I was like, man, when I tell you, man, I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed, man, because you can make your own sounds. With a rolling, it came with the sounds.
Okay.
So you had to manipulate the sounds on the board if you wanted to make them sound different. You know what I mean? An MPC, you can actually, you can actually like manipulate sounds through there. They have filters in there. They automatically have filters. You can sample whatever you want to sample. Gave you plenty of time. It wasn't like an SB1200 where it's like 9 seconds and there's a snare, 5 seconds and here's a kick. I mean, it gave you like, I don't know, like maybe a minute to do something, minute or 2 minutes. Wow. So we just fell in love with it, man. And then he said, you know what? He said, hey, man, John Sally just signed me, man. Y'all want to come over to the studio? And we was like, yeah. He took us over to John Sally's studio, man. And we was like, what the heck? I think John had about like 5 rooms with an SSL in it, man.
Wow.
I lost my mind. Because, I was a tech dude back. Because I was a techie guy back then.
Yeah.
So I was just like, wow. This is unbelievable, man. And then after that, Mario came in there, and he came in with the same MPC that Tony had, right? So I was like, so I kept telling them, the girl that signed us, right? I said, hey, you know what? If you want to get the new modern day sound, we need an MPC. She was like, what's that? I said, it's from Akai. I said, just look up Akai, and then you'll see. And then the next week, she came in with it, man. And I was like, what the heck? She ended up buying us one. So now I was able to trade sounds with Tony. So I traded sounds with Tony. And then when Mario came in. So Mario was doing gospel music.
Okay.
And we started trading sounds. So when I said, you know what? We all made a pact. We was like, whoever make it, man, big, pull the next dude in, man. I don't know where we gonna end up at. You know what I mean? I don't know where y'all gonna end up at, but we all gonna be cool. Me, Mario, Mario, Tony, Dietrich Haddon, Carl Thomas. So me and Bob made it
Carl
first.
Thomas as well?
Yep. We went to the same church when we moved to Chicago. So that's how we knew him.
Oh, wow.
So when we got to Atlanta, you know who's the first. This is gonna really trip you out, man. But this is the truth right here. You can ask Bob about this, man. You know who? Paul kept sending us demos, right? And how about, man? He kept sending us Dilla's. If he was sending us Dilla's demos, but they were saying James Yancey, right? So we didn't know who that was. We thought it was just a dude he met and just was sending us demos. But it was really Dilla, right?
Wow.
So he's sending us these demos, man, and we like, who is this dude, man? Because the beats was crazy, man. We was like, hey, Paul, who was this guy right here, man? He was like, I'm telling you, man. He didn't really go deep into it. He thought that we'd already hear it, which I did, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know what, just give us a minute, man. We don't got our 2 feet all the way in, you know what I mean, to sign people or get people signed. Just give me a minute. So what happened was we already knew that we didn't know what equipment he used, you know what I mean? But I knew what Tony used and I knew what Mario used. So the first person I called was Tony. I told Dallas about Tony. I told him he sounds just like Babyface, man. He was like, you know what? If he sound like, he said, get him on the phone, man. So I said, hey, Tony, man. I said, don't even say that. I said, play just for a little while, man. By the end of the song, man, Dallas' eyes was almost all puffy, crying and everything. The same thing. He was like, hey, man, come on down, man. So So what happened is we had Tony come down, and then Dallas kind of changed his mind because he had a couple other guys he was looking at. So then when we went up to meet Pebbles wanted to sign me and Bob, but we was like, you know what? We already signed the Dallas, but we got another dude, man. You should check him out. So then that's when we told him about Tony, and then they made Tony an in-house producer at LaFace, and then he was doing stuff for Pebbles and all that. And and that's when he won that Grammy and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
nobody knows it.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between
us, or even loving us, on which I did miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay, you're okay.
They don't understand what Jonas Boyz II Men and all play it.
And all these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.